On behalf of Greater Memphis Chamber, we will highlight people and companies who offer a forward-leaning approach to the growth of our great city. We will share a closer look at what makes Memphis attractive for economic growth, innovation, and expansion, as well as talent retention, tourism, education, good health, and great business. Welcome to Memphians on the Move by Methodist Le Bonheur Healthcare. I'm your host, Stephanie White. Inclusion, while closely related, is a separate concept from diversity. Inclusion is defined as the achievement of a work environment in which all individuals are treated fairly and respectfully, have equal access to opportunities and resources, and can contribute fully to the organization's success. Diverse workplaces are composed of employees with varying characteristics, including, but not limited to, religious and political beliefs, gender, ethnicity, education, socioeconomic background, sexual orientation, and geographic location. Today, we will discuss the distinctively different diversity strategy of First Horizon with Lynne Walker, Director of Affinity Strategy. But first, we will learn from First Horizon's President of Banking, David Popwell, why diversity should matter to all business and executive leaders, as well as how he reinforces accountability with his organization. David, welcome to Memphians on the Move.
Stephanie, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today and talk about what's going on at our company. Awesome. We're proud to be headquartered in Memphis, Tennessee. And to all of your viewers, thank you for supporting us and thank you for the trust that you give to our company.
Now, the regional organization structure of First Horizon is one of large capacity. What does the footprint look like in terms of leadership and number of employees?
Well, our total employees in our company is approximately 5,000 employees. 2,000 of those employees live and work here in Memphis, Tennessee, Shelby County. In the bank, we have 3,000 employees. Our footprint starts in the south in Key West. It goes north and as far east as Raleigh, North Carolina, and it goes as far west as Houston, Texas. We have approximately 25 markets where we do business, and within those markets, we have a market president and a leadership team. In addition, we have 9 specialty businesses that do lending and deposit work essentially nationwide. And then overall, we have a head of consumer retail banking and a head of all commercial wholesale banking. So it's a big organization and a big operation.
Okay, now let's unpack the evolution of diversity and inclusion at First Horizon National Corporation. Your company has adopted a culture of learning since founded as First Tennessee Bank in 1864. So can you walk us through some of the milestone accomplishments since then?
Where we got started in 1999, our president, John Kelly, working with a group of women at the company, started our first employee resource group, which was our women's initiative. Susan Springfield, who is our very talented senior credit officer today, was there 20 years ago when they started the group, and she is still a leader in that organization today. But that's where we started. In 2005, we started a diversity banking group in Memphis. It was a group of African-American bankers that wanted to focus on what I would call end-to-end or full-service banking for African-American business owners, both on the business side and personally. And what we learned over time was that diversity and inclusion and affinity banking really should target many cultures. And so we morphed that strategy, and we'll talk about that in a second. In 2008, we started a diversity council within the company. We have generally 2 senior leaders today, myself as president of the bank and John Daniel, our head of human resources, lead that council. And what we do is we work with companies, people throughout the company, and we talk about diversity issues, and we talk about how to improve the organization, particularly awareness from a diversity and inclusion standpoint. In 2009, we created a permanent role within human resources around diversity and inclusion. And then I think the really great piece, and you're going to talk about this later, is 2015 when we started the affinity banking strategy. Lynne Walker stepped up, leads that for us, and that's where we view this as a 360 business initiative, workplace, marketplace, and workforce. And I look forward to talking about that in our conversation here.
Right. Stay with us. More with David Popwell, President of Banking with First Horizon National Corporation, when we return.
We believe that culture is a competitive advantage, and it's so important, in fact, that we have a brand for it. We call it First Power. And if you define First Power, it's the way we work with each other. It's the way we make decisions. It's the way we treat our customers. It's the way we engage in our community. That represents our values of who we are. One of the most important parts of our culture is this idea of diversity and inclusion. We also talk about affinity, which means affinity is the way we're alike, while diversity is the way in which we're different. Then you add inclusion to it, which is kind of the way we mix it all together. And we believe by creating the right chemistry, we lead to a more innovative culture. We solve problems more effectively. We work together more effectively. And in sum total, we've won multiple awards because of our inclusive culture. You know, we're not just bankers at First Tennessee. We have opportunities in marketing and communications, and human resources, and finance, and facilities. And so at First Tennessee, you'll have an opportunity to pursue your personal and professional goals.
Would you rather go to the beach or to the mountains?
I would rather go to the mountains.
I'd rather go to the beach. Favorite movie genre?
Comedy, for sure. What's your favorite?
I love a good action film.
Night owl.
Early bird.
Basketball.
Football.
Pancakes.
Waffles.
Have you ever had a medical procedure?
Yes, I had a kidney transplant at Methodist.
Wow, I was not expecting that. Today is my 9-month anniversary of my kidney transplant.
No place I'd rather be when it came to get my transplant but at Methodist.
Welcome back to Memphians on the Move by Methodist Le Bonheur Healthcare. Now, David, let's pick back up where we left off in terms of evolution of diversity and inclusion at First Horizon National Corporation. Tell us how the diversity of your leadership team has evolved over the past few years.
Well, as we were talking about a second ago, in 1999, we started the Women's Initiative. And if I look at the leadership team of the bank today, Carol Yoakum, our president of Middle Tennessee, female. Yolanda Green, Murfreesboro, female. The head of all consumer banking at First Tennessee, Tammy Locascio, wonderful job. Key leader in the company. Tammy Crenshaw runs retail for Florida. And then I look at the senior leadership team of the company. Susan Springfield, senior credit officer. Lynne Walker, affinity strategy. Dawn Morris runs marketing, digital, customer experience. Candace Steele, communications. Maria Giusto runs lending operations and fulfillment. Amy Shreve runs deposit operations and fulfillment there. And these are members of the senior team. I've left off a number of individuals, but throughout our organization, from the front office to the back office, we have very talented women in very senior key roles in our company.
Okay, so what are some of the ways that you reinforce messaging and strategies of diversity?
Yes, well, we run this like a business. My bank management team meets at a minimum quarterly as a team, and we work one-on-one with key leaders on their diversity strategies, diversity and inclusion strategies. We give our leaders data on their workforce. It relates to the current composition of their workforce, the trends, and also what's going on in the posting and interviewing and things like that. Our key leaders have talent pipelines where we talk about who they're out in the community talking with, and we run it like a business, as I said. Data, accountability, and collaboration. Once a quarter, we have a talent management meeting with my direct reports, And we get a lot of innovation and creativity out of that meeting.
Okay. Well, now, David, let's highlight diversification in profit and loss roles and customer-facing roles. What's your take on this?
Well, the biggest challenge, and in 2015, when we reassessed the way that we approached diversity and inclusion, we call it the affinity strategy again, we said to ourselves, again, we need to run this like a business. And where we are least successful is with customer-facing roles. And we want our workforce to look like the markets that we serve so that we can connect with those markets and better grow revenue. And so that's the goal, is to have a workforce that reflects the marketplace so that we can grow revenue and foster, candidly, creativity. Like what I like to tell my direct reports is if everybody looks like me, goes to church where I go to church, went to school where I went to school, we're going to have meetings and everybody's going to agree to everything and we're all going to walk out and nothing's going to change. And so we want diversity of thought to spur creativity.
Okay, well, since you've been in the role of banking president, what are some of your most impressionable lessons that you've learned?
You know, the most impressionable lesson that I have learned is that bankers really do have the ability to impact people's lives. Every time I go on a customer or prospect call, somewhere in the conversation, I like to ask the business owner how they started their business. And invariably, they talk about a banker and someone who was willing to give them credit that really changed the trajectory of their business. Maybe it enabled them to start the business, but you know, there's a very wealthy real estate developer here in town who will tell you that the first loan he ever got was a $3,000 loan to buy a Volkswagen, and it put him in business. And today he's fabulously successful. We have a customer in Houston, Texas, who's the largest developer of retail space in Texas. And our president of that bank made him his first loan when he was a student in Austin, Texas, and he loaned him the money to build or buy a duplex, his first piece of rental property. I could just go on and on about entrepreneurs, people who left a job, started a business, and got that first loan and went out there and made it happen. And you know, when I go home at night and I think about what we do for our customers and the trust and loyalty that our customers show to us, it really makes me feel good about our company, what our people do every day, and what we try to do in our communities.
Outstanding. David Popwell, President of Banking at First Horizon National Corporation. We will return with Lynne Walker, Director of Affinity Strategy, after a message from Epicenter, the hub of entrepreneurship.
Today is my grand opening. Just the start of a new beginning for Big Mamas and Grannies. Big Mamas and Grannies was actually my big mama and my granny. Everything that they instilled in me, I want to give to others. We specialize in Southern soul to American tradition with a Cajun and Creole twist.
You have to eat the food.
That chicken salad is remarkable.
The macaroni and cheese is literally the best thing you've ever put into your mouth.
My favorite food is macaroni and cheese.
Kanaka represents where passion and perseverance meets resources. Memphis has tons of talented people with gifts. They just don't have the resources to fund those gifts. So I think Tanaka's story represents what Memphis can be.
Pathway Lending is one of those organizations that provide the necessary financing to women-owned businesses and black-owned businesses, even veterans as well. We're in a place that we can provide financing necessary to grow a community from within.
Pathway is a really important partner because they're nationally recognized experts in the distribution of capital to emerging businesses. Together, we solve a very significant challenge for entrepreneurs in Memphis.
Everything that you see in here today, the funding from Pathway Lending allowed me to do that. This has really allowed my vision and my dreams to really come true. A lot of times because you're a woman, you're seen unable to do. So I've always had that determination of nothing can stop me. I'm gonna keep pushing. I wish that everybody in the city of Memphis knew about Epicenter and Pathway Lending. If I'd never gotten a phone call from Epicenter, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't.
Joining me now is Lynne Walker, Director of Affinity Strategy at First Horizon National Corporation. Lynne, welcome to Memphians on the Move.
Stephanie, thanks for having us and giving us an opportunity to talk about our diversity and inclusion strategy at our company.
Well, Lynne, we talked a lot with David about evolution and strategies. What is the 360-degree strategy at First Horizon?
So one of the things that we've done traditionally well over the years is we have invested in building our culture, and a lot of that is thanks to John Daniel, our Chief HR Officer for the company. But in 2015, our leaders, our executive leaders, wanted to really step up diversity and inclusion and really run it like a business. And so that's when they asked me to step into this role. So what our 360 strategy does, it now connects all of the leaders in our company and employees across all of our markets into the marketplace, so the communities and the customers that we serve. And so that's what the 360 degree is. And you know, to do that, you need great talent and great customers. No company can really make progress or be successful without those two things. It's the two greatest assets that a company has. And so with that, you won't find those items on the balance sheet, but they drive every item on the balance sheet. And so that's our goal with our 360-degree strategy.
Okay, so what makes the First Horizon strategy so unique?
So there's several things that make it unique. One is the name, the affinity strategy, and we call it affinity. And our formula for success there is diversity plus affinity equals inclusion. And we frame it up that way because we say, first of all, it's for everyone. It's not just for women and people of color. It involves all employees. But what they have to do is understand their differences and value those differences, but come together and really focus on what they have in common, their affinities. And that's really the bridge to inclusion. So that's one thing that's unique. The other is, and I think David may have talked about this, the reporting structure. So I report directly to David, who's the key business executive, and really has all the teams under him that directly impact customers. In addition, I dotted line report to John Daniel, and that's where the talent connects into the marketplace. So that's another thing. A third thing is I grew my career in banking as a career banker, in corporate and commercial banker. So I know the business of banking. I also am a female of color who I grew my career in non-traditional roles in corporate and commercial banking, leading sales and product teams. And so it's that lens that I use and I bring to driving the strategy.
All right, well, stay with us. More with Lynne Walker when we come back.
I immediately felt something different. You know, it's loving care because loving is living up to their name. It's complete care with medical, dental, behavioral health, and pharmacy right in my community. Loving care for your body, mind, and spirit. Call 901 842-3160 or log on to christcommunityhealth.org for an appointment. Christ Community Health Services. Healing with soul.
Since 1990, in the fall of September, something phenomenal has been taking place in Memphis, Tennessee, and it all revolves around one special football game, the Southern Heritage Classic, presented by FedEx. It's homecoming for many of us fans. The Classic weekend is full of fun, with music from chart-topping musical acts, tailgate parties, and some of the best marching bands in the country. And of course, the game between two of college football's fiercest rivals, Tennessee State and Jackson State. The Southern Heritage Classic. It's a celebration.
Begin a new and exciting career as a truck driver with training at Olympic Career Training Institute. Get your Class A CDL truck driving license in just 4 weeks and starting salary making up to $50,000 a year. Must be 21 years of age and have a valid driver's license. The class is also background friendly and job placement assistance is available. Class is filling up fast. Secure your enrollments. Don't wait. Call today. 901-350-6284. Olympic Career Training Institute.
Welcome back to Memphians on the Move by Methodist Le Bonheur Healthcare. Now, metrics are key when evaluating diversity and inclusion growth. Can you share some more specific results about talent hiring and promotions in the organization?
Well, I'll share both the talent side and one of the marketplace as well, some in the marketplace. So on the talent side, we used our diversity staffing maps, the data, to show where our biggest talent gaps were. And like most companies, it was with women and people of color, particularly in upper level roles. And so from the year end 2015 to year end last year, 2018, we grew the percentage of women and people of color in our top 3 salary levels from 33% to 41%. So big improvement there. Likewise, in terms of hiring and promotions, we track that women and people of color, we grew those statistics from 71% to 73%. And then our biggest gap was with men of color. So in 2015, only 1.3% of men of color were in senior management roles. That's now at 8.5%. So some great progress on the talent side.
Definitely. What is meant by community reinvestment lending, and what are your amenities here?
Okay, so for community reinvestment, really all that is, it's a regulatory responsibility that banks have to serve all communities. And for this one in particular, it's for low to moderate income communities and communities of color. So what we are focused on is the lending piece, number one. So mortgages, for instance, we grew our mortgages to people of color by, we actually lent $30 million last year. I'm sorry, $93 million there. And in terms of low to moderate mortgages, we lent $30 million last year. We also have a great partnership with Operation Hope to give financial education to those borrowers and to those communities. And they can go into our branches, meet with a financial counselor, and really learn some great money management skills.
We will have final thoughts with Lynne Walker after a message from the desk of Greater Memphis Chamber President Beverly Robertson.
In response to the resounding voices of both job seekers and employers, and the expressed need to bridge the gap between talent and opportunities, the Greater Memphis Chamber will convene regional stakeholders from the workforce ecosystem on October 22nd and 23rd with a major workforce summit entitled Upskill 901, with goals of upskilling 10,000 individuals with technical and essential skills and exposing them to high-demand careers and direct employment opportunities. We will do this over a 12 to 36-month period. We're hosting this 2-day summit, which will include breakfast and lunch, keynote addresses from experts, breakout sessions, and CEO roundtables on day 1, and a preparation meets opportunity career fair on day 2. Here, attendees will be provided multiple resources from on-site registration for programs to employer screenings for open positions. For more information on Upskill 901, the Workforce Summit, visit memphischamber.com.
Would you rather go to the beach or to the mountains?
I would rather go to the mountains.
I'd rather go to the beach. Favorite movie genre?
Comedy, for sure. What's your favorite?
I love a good action film.
Night owl.
Early bird.
Basketball.
Football.
Pancakes.
Waffles.
Have you ever had a medical procedure?
Yes, I had a kidney transplant at Methodist.
Wow, I was not expecting that. Today is my 9-month anniversary of my kidney transplant.
No place I'd rather be when it came to get my transplant but at Methodist.
Since 1990, in the fall of September, something phenomenal has been taking place in Memphis, Tennessee, and it all revolves around one special football game, the Southern Heritage Classic, presented by FedEx. It's homecoming for many of us fans. The Classic weekend is full of fun, with music from chart-topping musical acts, tailgate parties, and some of the best marching bands in the country. And of course, the game between two of college football's fiercest rivals, Tennessee State and Jackson State. The Southern Heritage Classic. It's a celebration.
Welcome back. What have been some of your greatest learned lessons and best practices as it relates to diversity and inclusion?
So I'll talk about two real lessons learned. One is that I think as marketplaces change, as people change, the demographics there, everyone needs to learn how to be diversity fluid. That's what I call it, and be able to really effectively engage across cultural and different lines. So that would be the first one. If you don't do it, you won't be successful. The second one is simple math is hard to do. So the formula D plus A equals I. I'll tell a little bit of a story about myself. I flunked calculus my freshman year in college, and I was always great at math, but I had to pass that course in order to graduate. So my senior year, I ended up passing it. I was afraid to try again, but I passed it. However, now I'm finding that this math is even harder than calculus, and it's going to take all of us working together, but our team and our great leaders, we're determined to pass this test. So that's probably the biggest lesson learned.
Amazing insight and even more amazing efforts by First Horizon National Corporation. I'd like to thank my guests, Lynne Walker and David Popwell. You certainly make Memphis proud, and you are both Memphians on the move. And we'll see you next time on Greater Memphis Chamber Presents Memphians on the Move by Methodist Le Bonheur Healthcare. I'm your host, Stephanie White. Thanks for watching.